Majo.
Yeah.
Bibia Bokodi.
Every other man, Mumpabo. Major say, yet if from war a chichi bench, Ubia, and so a way come.
Ubia hoye. Now, Suame to say you.
Every other, if you hope by weekend, apart from Futra. Queen Saturday and Friday and then so talk a crammer for train call from. But otherwise we are okay. Juma and people shall say giddy. Say near Suame Interchange from January to date. Contractors Omunya Capre Enfri all their IPCs are outstanding.
Interchange in
contractors now hoping that the IPCs will be honored. But so far, we haven't seen anything. In fact, what has happened is more workers, the size is reducing by the month. As women get into more they are just living skeletal staff. I guess the reason is that they don't want to demobilize completely. So maybe that should be when you scan no back and go too expensive. So they've left some skeletal staff there, hoping that the IPCs will be ended. But so far, nothing much. But otherwise, me no more magazine. Me other roman kakra near my elkoso.
But so much here implications of abatu moto year 2024 general elections.
Oh, I mean, yes, I remember. Every campaign, Assembly Kwana make and say, "Monhwe." The 2 year especially Kumasi bra area for project I was starting Kumasi Oshe Sofola and some other projects I was starting and San Ufri Hono in 2008 woman we are until Nana Akufo-Addo came back to power in 2017 and San Yewi start projects. So medical almost say look minimum knowing the NDC, Omoba, they are not going to prioritize our roads until but you know, Suame crowd the voter turnout, the average of 67%, I think was better than the national average. Yeah, but at the end of the day, of course, we won almost 80% of that. But apart from that, you see, say, Shada Ankoya my party, and they, so they've come to understand. In fact, on Thursday last week, Moana will be frame. What's happening? So I mean, I'm saying, of course, the building Suame up a post office opposite. Let me know more. Virtual block rose and foot through a
protest.
No more protest because certain man contractor no site where you may be now use Bowser no to at least wet the place. Say the bear and foot through Emma, but a bra contractor and also more free side near them. They are not watering any longer into in foot through or high how and so that's what is happening in Suame. But hopefully, look, let me say this. My name is for Rose Akasa. And even though I sit here, I must admit that he was very nice, very accommodating. The day I met this is about 2 years ago. We did not have free penny for our more ministry who say omone contractor and Nkasa because government is committed to paying. And see, I'm hoping say in all the contractor and the ministry will have some form of agreement so that they can go back. Look, let me put it, the so-called Suame Interchange. I say so-called because even though it's Suame Interchange, and yes, Suame Nkwana, not even the serve. Suame Interchange, you many be Bantama. Suame Interchange, friends are that project known as Suame Interchange, you many be waterfall. In fact, the project known as Suame Interchange, you be Muntaka constituency as I say. The project known as Suame Interchange now it be a connected Menchia North. And a very big project, and of course now you talk about the connectivity from Suame roundabout, a lot of traffic echo the way to our Sahelian partners or Sahelian region a benefit. It's not just the constituency, it's just the whole let's say the region or even the whole country. And I am as on my, and hopefully I want to believe that the government will prioritize that. Now, what to me area am I?
Council, obi to your say so. Then they see MPP coin some baby Suame interchange.
No, I mean it's a fair question, honestly. Media. What I can say is, I say, I buy beer, but won't mean projects in the first day. I say you schedule them, and so it means that even though it had been on the drawing board for some time, I started quite late. We say how to award a contract, even doing the many contracts and Casa one time. I think project and started just at 2024. It started way back. Drawing, I think either Portuguese or Spanish. They have Spanish or Portuguese partners. They were saying that even the drawing had to go to their partners. It took so long. The technical processes and even funding going through PPA. So it's a process that took long. But once they started from 2023, late 2023, 2024, they were on fire working all around. And I say, my project in delay said, so I'm roundabout Nankasano. Roundabout net that will be is the heart of water system, in Kumasi. We say, Juana Ghana Water Company.
Almost pipes in
in fact, it took so long to divert the pipes at the roundabout. Now we moved to Kofoma. It was a lot of work, and it took a lot of time for the project to take off for us to see. But there were a lot of work going on. But we say you can see for you and I. You say we see just with the quota la bigusu and say, but there were a lot of technical work.
And PPI
exactly. And you see, well, I just hope, now you don't have to waste so much time with babies.
Right. Yanko legal issues mukakra na yeni enkomo. And I don't come out my imrashib jefia vow say umbe resist Pandai rerun. Tamale High Court recently a ruling say in 30 days yanko rerun ewo Pandai. Omasem ne say NDC for asem ne say collation center na say wo Pandai no ya nye collation no ho ye be no regional capital ye Tamale. Omo agent nyawe enti yenko issues omo no 41 polling stations but omo se yenko na yenko ye rerun wo all the polling stations. And this is not the first time a BAC we legal counsel ma edom kuma wo ma mrashib jafie ablekuma north. And what been a see here omo take seat from MPP na ye only 3 polling stations but omo ye ya fechere ya na party no lusu sa constituency no as legal counsel for minority or my imrashib jafie sasem to say
say we lawyer na uti abusa say na fe ye wo court okrum ha na and as ye wo court ye wo judges o mane court na if you say at the end just say it flouts all legal principles. It beats my and so honestly speaking, we are awaiting the judgment. I think that judge, menim de no he was in such a hurry. Now with judgment, now for now be all consequential orders. Say in 30 days here in Kotwaba, judgment because look. Even though that is done, you are careful with consequential orders. Give the people the judgment, let them study, understand, and then even give them the chance to appeal if they want to. You understand? Now, what my judgment? You don't have a copy of the judgment. We need to file an appeal. So you just have to file an appeal and then wait to get a copy of the judgment before you can understand the reasons for the judgment. Look, media, me feel say. Yenua umanya kwan se omo tena ho se judges no omo hunu se Ghana for nso so no ye wo nyansa we trim
okay
omo hunu se yenso so no emra no ye mu bi yetiase. What is the issue? Say abra yenyina enim se ye 41 polling station that were even in contention granted Granted.
41.
41. How do you tell me say all the others now? Omo anto about omo de asembia no ne san kwato aba foforo. It never happened. Supreme Court, when the Supreme Court dealt with Akufo-Addo and Mahama, some of these issues came up.
2013.
And they said at best, the police stations which had issues, and we say Unkoto about. So the Supreme Court ruling to any serious judge who wants to do his work well should serve as a guide. In fact, it is a binding precedent on any court in this country, any lower court. And with this judgment, in law, we say it's per incuriam. It flies against the established principle as, developed by the Supreme Court.
And I'm not catching my
So as I say, your court to Batano, at the Atuho say, BBC is here, baby, I 71, I want your court to about. So granted, see, I grant we say the mouth. Not a no principle. It means that you have 2 national elections. That's 4,000 polling stations. Problems with her. Now the court was here to a ban for. I said, me what to be that. And see, I never want to cry. Say, you see, at temo adwuma ɛso ani anidie wom ye nyina ye de buo kese ema wom ye nua no wom eni wom nyina na kosi amra no ntu nya kwan se beye jaja enkyere se tomra no twene emra no na wo de eye adwuma enti ena dom kuma mu we press conference na yaka se he say no ye nua no so ya na dwen se o appeal en ne kwan so anu se sa judgment be said there any quite say ejina wo babia
stay of execution.
There is still execution of the orders of the court. Say order say he should not hold himself out as an MP. Near control by within 30 days. And also a filing stay of execution and or appeal. Look, there are plethora of cases. I actually say when you filed the stay of execution and so far execution now okoye appeal now bibiano is held in abeyance.
Okay,
as in
bibias
say yenkoye appeal because I mean, can you imagine say yakoto aba 30 days yakoto aba na you say okay NDC na win maybe asem come mean say even in the worst case scenario won't me win yes you say NDC na win na fe 3 weeks after yakoto aba you say judge no judgment aba you say honorable in the case no we dibem your boy high court then what happens yes I say you nim the say you kwaba you nim the be. We cannot allow this to happen. The judge was so wrong, and especially the consequential order say you in trouble within 30 days. When you know it's any pan beat me appeal it, I'm appeal no your orders, your judgment can be overturned. And think you be a or pay some raya juma. And could be consequential orders because say let's abide by Obama days within which to appeal. That if you want to appeal within this period. But any orders will be stayed until such a time. Say Untimi upeso ye bibia ye betwe ye bema bia 21 days so upeso file appeal no file appeal. Some judges do that. Umomu ye fair no. And he's looking to me say judge we no na adwene say or yes NDC for adwumo say you meanwhile when you swear that oath you swear oath to execute or give justice to all manner of persons irrespective of their political affiliations. Odi ene say obi bia no obemra na ya adwuma pepepe emfa ho ne party or join na odi e wo no asasma asade a oye oya mandisi and say na yenu mu kan yenu say Accra na judgment ne beba no he wasn't surprised because na ndisi for na asha say ka kire ma asha say ebosi oh yes only yenu
before judgment from Tamale court no
yes na they
no munim kebesi
enti omu that judgment no beba no NDC for pen for nyina kugu ha say so ma share white omu ready omu bosi nyina ho. So clearly you can see say bibi nye
council wo ye mranim ni say asem kokot ni enka asem ni wie ye na se me no wo na anya asem
famano
si ye na me starte jubilate implications in your day sunsanso ne your day.
Also, you know, as for I say justice must not only be done, it must manifestly be seen to be done. And into
fabric na
ye court na and you say ye demrani to 2 year nko say o ye mamrani ne da yi also obi a oba court obi hu say mrano e da yi enti what it means any kwan say obi a wo omanimu a na otwam kura adwen say na court yi di mre yi a na eni yi also obi adwum ne fine say court no obedi asem yi yenu yindam eno wo kan kire say abra judgment ne beba no na enuanu mo NDC for no Asaase jubility. So for a bystander and as you obi a ogina nchen de na dwene be ne say e be say nkrofo enim
ana ya hye judge no kutupa so nko ni say
eti sa na beba eti no mani age. So I say otherwise me as a lawyer my court I win case my court I lose cases that you never know the outcome. In fact there was a case be you reading nyina me say medim kunima on to the last page. I was so surprised if you say medim kungu. How did this happen? What I say? In most cases you don't know the outcome until the final page is read. Etieba say no bit me call say or no the idea of jubilate. So for me it is the optics. It's the optics that you know for any a person and nipa bi ogina nchen adwene obadwene afa ya temwa adwuma no. That is what worries me. But honestly speaking sa adesi wo hono de emu awrem, and I am very happy say minua Nindam what take steps say or the assembly bekoso na mji say judges miensa no etnasia o be hwe no maye adepa de aboa o man nyina.
Right, me ntumrika e wo court nanim but state of execution and state of appeal and the amodi atosu bia say the Tamale High Court no kan ye no court ba tan nsan enhwe mu biwie no mu ahotoso wo mu say periperi e be ye adwuma.
Oh yes, I mean listen, generally me dear baby me generally court no, I'm saying generally because there are sometimes eneme bi nkoye but pen dodo na no court no ye na eneme yi especially baby a mo do so nipa miensa baby a nipa ba konko atwa ya na nsem no do so, and a state of execution idea is regularly granted, you know, and it's pending appeal. In fact the judges will be minded to even grant it in the sense that who see got to about any nipa no abra judgment no kra nsankan Nisaka afi no obe reading who the reason ti I say
and the panisan ka judgment
the judgment
and ya matter 30 days say enye
ko to aba judgment so the Baba Friday o fa judgment ba I say yam ko to aba judgment now we gina so I say we dey yi na di no we want me. So what it means when me reading in court ho and na it we ba no because say the reasons the judgment we the Baba different date I say we pay for the account na as within 30 days yam ko to aba I dey say no there Court of Appeal, omu so kra. Omu ebema stay no mama no time say onko to any appeal no. Then they will hear the appeal. But look, I believe say Court of Appeal will do the right thing. They will look at the Supreme Court decisions. A war is binding on them. No more I can say at worst, and I'm saying at worst because say if we say nipa no or asem can. It's 41 polling stations. But you know, when you even look at the facts of the case, Minia, this is a case yatwa banawie, not counting, na basa yesi, na yesi, na mse basa yesi nti, yem found regional capital, ebin sida. Ye 2 by 20, Greater Accra region, die nyina yanko kan no national. Honorable Patrick Boama de, yanko kan national. Minia, I think forcing there were a lot of Tesla police station no omu be free baby and a bekai enti wo no yesi enko Tamale na wo no say wo nkwa and this is what it is ye to abawia the friend pink sheet no a collation paper the collation center enti uko polling stations in Obia or that print sheet, as more or less a receipt of what happened at that polling station. It's NDC ni best
once
MPP.
agent ni be say we dey no waje
NDC ni as MPP ni as and electoral commission so one day. It's yemi and say wo if you what sign my sign we so assign saa miensa na the calculation center there and say electoral commission there no one one the two was okay polling station A NPP enya 1000 NDC nya 200 saa na wo there so was ane saa na wo there so was ane no a market polling station B NPP nya 5000 NDC nya 2 saa na wo there so saa na wo there so ane saa ye the electoral commission there no and the original one momo de nyina mo de be compare it electoral commission no say mo ma makra na obetimi de ono ane de no akoleti I declare results
because from polling station
what I say one no electoral commission no one officials wo mu nyina na de papers no aba
obi so agent bi assign
de aba assign na ye koleti na basa bae na we say said the election ko no basa etisi o manum nyina it don't feel so betimi basa akwosesa pin sheet ni nyina na election commission de ende enti se ba bi esia na omu hu we mu de no omu de nyina eti mo se mo ankwa electoral commission will still have its record to declare the results. Yes, say judge, you know, as is a breach of natural justice. Are we serious in this country?
Natural justice
I was shocked. Sana and
say agent is when you fair here and
minimum. Yeah, collective results from electoral commission. What about the breach of natural justice? As you know, if it will form the basis for declaring the whole election now. I mean, serious as a country.
Right, yeah, we had Tamale High Court ruling now a buy and still. Honorable Yindam bet me, I continue holding who say, where you Rashibujani, ma additional pandai.
Okay, so, I mean, as a lawyer, it's a judgment about the order is that he should refrain from holding himself out as the MP for the constituency. I want to appeal into appeal for stay and suspension of the orders of the court. It is so long as that stay is there, of course, he will be. You see, a bad stay of execution, there are two schools of thought. And in most cases, a shift. There are those who believe that the filing of the stay of execution itself should serve as a stay. What filing should serve as a stay. There are those who also believe that it should be moved and the court gives its decision before it can serve as a stay. But in most cases, courts never the consequence of not granting the stay. It may say stay and we file it, but it may be 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Maybe I talk about we are Ghana stay of execution. They say High Court no ama orders biya Supreme Court no ewo ahwodin so be ka kire say there be sa ruling na wo de buy na asem na wo kan ye no ayin ABCD no Jina so kakra na home so kakra na yenhwe nsem no mu me pa to aso.
Yes, so we can say Supreme Court. So what it is they say the court above, because you see High Court then Court of Appeal, Court of Appeal the Supreme Court.
Okay,
I think for election for high constituency election ends at the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court.
Okay,
and the Supreme Court the presidential election and the starting or
appeals court.
A end of appeals court.
Okay,
and so a idea I did Court of Appeal. Now Court of Appeal I decided say idea no papa no judge the kind yantwen sensen kopem say ye bedi asem na wi. In the court say yantwen sensen dia still no MP kopem say ye bedi asem na wi. Court no ka say on tiase imagine say Court of Appeal. Now Court of Appeal say no, they won't grant the stay of execution. That would mean any or say or tranche kopem say ye bedi asem na wi. But that would be very serious breach of the rights of the people in that constituency, because they must have a voice at any point in time. The people of Bandai should have a voice at any point in time. And so the court will look at all these things and say, no, in the meantime, he should continue to be his MP. Let's deal with this matter before, once we give our decision, then say, acquire by election. And once he's filed his notice of stay of execution, na what they appeal no train say obenya judgment no file appeal no, he should be able to hold himself out as the MP for the area, and I believe that some of my colleagues, some judges, will agree with me.
Right, advice Ben as legal counsel for minority. Advice Ben adebema honorable Nam say wako sa appeals court no na sebi and go through.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So, yeah, law-abiding citizens. Or court appeals now say appeal now and go through. What it means, they say court no Tamale, court no order no will stand, which means he should not hold himself out as an MP. Na yonkoto aba. That is what that will mean, and I believe that won't happen.
I think there will be a toll. The late NS Kumi, or Achimu and Akwetia.
Yes, Akwetia. Yes. But you see, only the end there, eventually, courts, no, Emma, who said, or no, the new council or call your election be our hobby, and the Muana, I believe said the Court of Appeal will do right by the people of Ghana. Now, Mama 7 terminate na honorable in them were dinner MP.
Right. Petitioner call Mampayin John Dramani Mahama Ho say yes in the 2 deputies. Yem Pamo Omo. And what us through say the petition Mampayin know what happens. And then you be so I can say, okay, petition the buy no ABCD intino yisi say walk because ordinary Ghanaian on the street is a calculated attempt. Because no more person pam yisi no a first target. But na CJ Chief Justice in Koya yentimi pam yisi. Because the petition kwa Mampanyin be refer ama CJ no se wonhwem se sabi nyina so bi ewo mu a me pacho sa pepepe ene tie ena sa petition no menim se what dia abrante ba kwa no ye adwuma ho or say sa biometric hwan devices yi ye say ye could trace no bola so ye ko hu ye trace akasa no ne fa ye ene ya suspend no into a petition say yisi ye mpam no me pacho we lawyer ni asemo nyina kokot
as ye tunte. Well, okay, so let me say this.
Okay.
Matisse petition be I haven't seen the contents of the weekend. I said 10 years too. But look, you stated the position of the law correctly. I don't think there's any need for me to repeat. But yes, the Chief Justice will have the opportunity to review the petition to determine if there's a prima facie case against the person. Then there will be an in-camera hearing to decide say nipa no for ana odibim na omuwia na omudo mu report ebeba na say odibim a yayi na free modifo president na free ho. But you know, are you surprised? You are not surprised because and Ghana ni bia nim say adie we no de adie ndisi for plan ya this year ya sedun ketiaka okaya bu baby kura se before ba wo fie na se we kan niema no so almost alluding say the bridge EC chair no say wa ya berwa before cross ye pam no I say dinketia and all their people their first again like you said was to get the electoral commission chair out and omadwene you say and nam said Torkonoo hono Torkonoo more or less will shield the EC. Inti yenyi no niamfo obi a ye de ebetimi aka de onye enche no na ono be hye ho a na easy. Inti ye hwe wo mu se asema petition said the okay say na wo mu dia. I believe the Chief Justice now Justice Baffour Awuah will throw it somewhere in the dustbin. I don't think that it measures up to the level. I see it because the Electoral Commission chair and a pump for.
Right. So let's compare to the Chief Justice, former Chief Justice Torkonoo. When first were Pamono na grounds no ejina so a ye petition ye de Pamono na ne kwan so no.
I say media, I can't.
Yes, because I don't cry. Me, a lay person, me lawyer, men ko bi da. So obi ni kunu ne ma, obi ni kunu ne ba to kwan. Judge bi anya adwuma ye na or pam notes or suspending notes or then call baby fufuro.
Look, I mean, I think that, sir, the removal of the former Chief Justice, I think, is the greatest injustice we've meted out to any Ghanaian.
Because of his
in this, yes, it's fine. I mean, in this republic, it's the greatest injustice we've ever meted out to any Ghanaian. How we treated her, petition, basa. In fact, our committee no cry reports are mostly known that form the basis of your committee. So it tells you, say no money or margin so any deep work. It was just facade in my view. It was just a way say the everywhere. Media. I at this point there are a lot of pessimists around, but I still want to believe, and I hope I'm proven right. I still want to believe that there are still good people in the judiciary. I still want to believe that there are people with integrity in the judiciary. I want to, at this point, say I am hoping that the current Chief Justice will look at this in a very pure legal mind. Not what who say as a media, and yes, media will be a dear. You know what watching. I just want to believe that it can happen.
Quickly, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, where a lawyer named Fache.
No, it's fine. It's okay.
A man for a protest say Yempam OSP. Critics say Yempam office no wha first obeying any binya because say yen scrapping the Office of the Special Prosecutor. As will be a mran unim yen the creation or establishment of the Office of the Special Prosecutor and who bam for Suame my Ghana. The character nipa no wo ho no ene yes ye pam na na say the Office of the Special Prosecutor ene yes good no.
That's a very interesting question. Okay, there was a lot of debates leading to the establishment of the act, the establishment of the office, and for me. I listened to the debates intensely at the time. We made a lot of strong case for the establishment of special prosecutor, even though there were those who also, made a serious case against the establishment, saying that, look, we have enough institutions around to fight corruption. But the office was established purposely. Proye ene ketasehye ase purposely say ni titire pa enti wo hwema enkaye ebi so man media megiri say ade a edi enya pa no eye ketasehye ene kro no emwaye enti si enya dwumadie ti say ko atia no pa eno no enye kro no ketasehye mbam say corruption and corruption-related cases.
Yeah.
It is a necessary no be a omam. That's a dedicated office to fight corruption. It in media. Me say so. I will not be one of those people who advocate say musa jumakuno. Any pie or no so no. Metia minim bebre omomo ya adwumani bi. Ewo. Me dem fi say omwa eye omadwuma ya ebabuo mo man ya tumpon. I have my own issue with some of the things I omaye, but then just say and look, as a developed country, as a developing country, enye bibia ni enyina bekwa enyina adwene bekọ benkrum ebi wo ha enyina adwene bekọ ebi wo ha enyina entiase, but what it means is say ye kosua build the good institutions ebeboye. You see, there's a statement by Obama here there be a man for comes here and say it is better to build strong institutions than to build strong men.
Okay.
Because the institution is stronger.
You don't need a man.
You don't need a strong man.
Yeah.
It will it will control everybody in it. So once we have this institution, I think that we need to strengthen them. No many many.
But ye Martin Amidu ebaye enyina. Kisi Jaben, a man for CM Pamnon to why you.
Oh, media said there are so few good men in the country who will be able to do that.
Does it mean say Martin Amidu Kisi Jaben?
Oh, so Masemi do. He resigned, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't sacked. He resigned. Kisi is so there. Obia enyi nimfi. I won't advocate say enyi nimfi. So yeah, Juma. We may have our difficulties or our disagreements with the way he's doing his work, but
the ordinary Ghanaian on the street or critics will say, Papa Iba, yes, you're a disca, my. The BS here, disca or my emo. Sika here, this wa, yentimi more minor, ye boni panaso hoka. And ye disca, discania, probably, but Jessica, my, the Bia soon to me, Sika, the Bias your bo hoka. Kaya bono enyasem ketwa and budget allocation krano ne de no me assure say yen come money even e ma bonten wo ka say wo hia 100 billion and na say kukuru ne de akoma no ya dwuma na gi esi kama ye o kokot so a unhu de ekosi the ordinary Ghanaian the thinking no
look, I think the jury is still out there. Kisi Jaben for how long? I'm not sure to say he's been there for more than 4 years.
Yes.
The jury is still out there. And see, institutions near home. I told you, I said, there was any panel cry, commit crime, cry, and sign a disca. Who are institutions who create, uncle commit crime in the first place. So, yeah, the country might be saved. Media, at this point, me feel say our fight should not be about any panel or any queen.
The character.
Okay. Say a institution be strong because no quick say Jabina do before but Nippon no me adwuma na ho mo ye adwuma. It was say a institution is strong. Na omo anso mo no hunu say Ghana for edan wo mu Ghana for hweso mbe ye adwuma no eye edi abo man no. Na omo enye fair. I think say adeba ko ama institutions no ase edruwa bi a enipa ni mu gidie and say ene wo sha atade blue dia de ye the same thing obi o sha atade green no ono de o ya enye vice versa ade a obi sha atade green o ya de beche no wo sha atade blue wo ya ye mfa nchew see it means politics no efrima we can build strong institutions beboy look we had the those days near SO for me were serious fraud office.
Yeah.
Say yemfa enkuntia proye. Ekosi say yati yoko say yemfa enkuntia proye. Akosi say enyate a special prosecutor. In fact, Attorney General office ho police ho. So it tells you say on minor ya just say pesi enkuntia ketashye ene proye. Na so no yentimi nya akukuduru a betimi ama yehu se saban we wo power na nipa ya ade a yen kan yen sikire ni enye na se enkoba se saban bi wo power de an nkrofo no omuntimi nya boni bi they do no wrong so as I say na se aban fufuro bi ba ono na oye nipa o se ono de ye de no kokko se de we Attorney General oba ye na Bank of Ghana boss papa yi asem wo call din dia yedi eda yi na ade echi ani appointing as a governor of Bank of Ghana ade echi ya na ye the MPP for Eco Court so it tells you obi ogina nche bia ka say ye pese ye krono ketasisha ne prodia ene enya consistent die Johnson Siama ye na enya yanka ne ye ma court ni na asem nwie
ne se be kwa shi case no
exactly
right Meras ye be jaba quickly answer the be jaw no extension of IGP Yohunu say nyame yadoma December 27 we call retirement aban ne say why extension e dia ma no ye read the constitution no eka na ye hwe letter be dated 2nd April 2025 from the presidency I will know stating clear say so be a public service worker na we call retirement one year extension bia esi nipa ne ko na nipa foforo ebesi na nemu eden na mrane ka about retirement, public service workers.
It's
Any
a,
kratana mampaini
it's a whole big thing. I was saying,
Mahama is a whole.
Like I'm a whole and near my pa a bachelor. But you know,
Fetch me.
there are so many institutions that retirement. Sometimes some institutions are different, like Supreme Court, 70 years.
Chief Justice, 70 years.
You understand? In some places, 65. You know, so it's just interesting. Say police for the. I think it was just in April.
2nd April.
2nd April.
2020, not directives by.
Callistus, the directive whereby from the presidency. Now, I said, I'm making I said, you're consistent. Because you can see clearly, at the time, sir, at the end of the some people were the targets. In the paper, no, so much retirement age and more pet. Renewal, and yes, it's a new directive
because about
extension, young Pamu. Wow, it's a fair young crop for who say, okay, we only a young crop for into me debating me. I am, and just I just of my acquire say, you know, because you continue and Quintia say we are buying 1 year consistent. Any pakra am serious. Said the debate in Parliament, chairman of Education Committee was if a double track, you know, he became in 2 years. Minister for Education, as in next year. Minister for Finance, as in next year. Just a woman, no, Obiaki can't do a so much inconsistency. So look, for me, it tells you about the insincerity of the Mahama administration. And now, say, say. Mejidi say ma blanket open there and if am obi say obi oberita bia no ubetimi ama no extension ni who say okay you are being fair that's you hear anymore okay we retire we dey ma extension you dey ma we retire we dey ma extension say na ma nipa no adwuma mu ye no mo fa akoma pa ene anigye enye if you say bi omu nyina mo adwuma ba ko retire yes won tena ho 2 years what all the so yes kofie na abre nyina na ye Ghana for etua taxes. So for me it tells you say about you know inconsistency no na omudebu man. It doesn't make in my view it doesn't make sense the way this thing has played out. And I hope say President, if you want to make it a policy, let us know. So it is that policy of getting further appointment is available. Now, if it's not available, let it be known to all of us. Now, Kobase, Edru Kwakusudia, Obenya, Edru Amasodia, Onya. That will not be fair.
Your legal system, no, at Hussein Afi Nyao, Oferi Kromra Shebejani, Honorable Michael Kusi, Edu, Ewahana, and then Twaso, Ghana, your legal system, net saying.
But as a thesis, honestly speaking, no. I mean, we cannot assess our judicial system in the center. It's a whole thesis. But they made me
say from January to November month, woman.
Oh, under this administration,
under John Dramani Mahama, your legal system, net saying.
I will let it pass.
Pass over.
Thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.